Hi class, this is your video feedback. I wanted to touch on some important things for your sites. You'll want to look at the larger group feedback if you have some other classmates. That will help you a lot. For this one, I really love what you've started here. I'm not sure you need this up here. It's fuzzy and broken up, and this may need to be a little sharper. Probably want to bring in your drop shadow here a little bit because it's still losing some definition along the top. This is working really well. Maybe this just needs to be a little bigger. This looks good like this, but it's hard to find it. So maybe you start out like this, and maybe it changes colors or does something else when we click on it. But I think, maybe it changes to blue and white. But to see it to begin with, I think it needs some definition there and contrast. This is good. You could put your social media down here. Also, the fictitious claimer is important. Disclaimer. The menu is super important. It needs to be entered so that it's searchable, and we want our images to reflect a food truck, so no glassware there. So those two things are really important. This is good. I like it. Okay. Make sure your text is left aligned. Okay. It is here, but it isn't here. So watch that. I like the way you have these little titles. Those are really clever. Usually I ask for the map to be below the locations, but this is working, and it's almost like a art print, so it's okay. I like it. I like this, and I like how we can see the days here. Also like what you've done with that phrase. Now, special events, it's a drop-down menu, but it's okay. It's not covering anything up. Okay, so this needs to be enter text. Looks good as far as your headers. That will remain, but you do need to enter all of that so it's searchable and not a picture of words, which is not. Like I said, this looks great, and I like how you say how to reel this in. That's really nice. I like this layout. Looks good. This can link up. Okay, I didn't see that. That's all right. And close this up. I wonder, we kind of need to get into that a little quicker. All right, so this looks really good, and that looks good. It's working well. And this, except it needs to have intertext, looks good. All right. But it's laid out well. Just a few things. Make sure this is all left aligned. Okay. Great start. We'll see this again week 4. You can add your social media at the bottom or here. And remember, you need the fictitious disclaimer. All right. Let's try and clear that. And this at the top looks good. It's a nice image. It's really clean. This could be a little larger to leave some padding margin on both sides here, and you could make this larger. Okay. Yeah, sometimes when you scroll over them, they, are full color, but this, if you're going to do it like this with the images like this, that's fine, but let's have the text a little easier to read. Maybe it's on a white with heavier text like you have here almost. A different size perhaps. This is fine, and you want certainly margin here between this. Try and be somewhat consistent. Good. And good, you're linked up. That's great. So it's a good page. Leave a little more margin here. You usually get to be the same here as here. A little more in both cases. Yeah, could maybe reduce this image just a little. Very clean. I like it. Make sure there's plenty of padding. Okay. And underneath that, this may need to be bigger, maybe the whole thing just a little bigger. It's very delicate. Okay. Be very mindful of glassware because it's a food truck. Okay, there's a lot of scrolling. But, you know, it's working. It works well. If you can eliminate just a little bit, that might be helpful as far as your scrolling goes. But it works, and the color's good. This looks very nice. And this doesn't look like, it could be paper. So, all good. This should be probably all caps and left align or here. I think if it's going to be here, it should be like that. And these can double up if you want. Monday and Wednesdays can go together. They're the same location as is Tuesday and Thursday. That would reduce the scrolling. This is space you could use, but if you're going to do it like this, just make sure you take out a little bit there. That is a lot of wasted space, though. That's important. Real estate. Let's make that larger if it's going to be there. I'm not sure it needs to be. If this is a blog post, okay, so it just needs to be much clearer here, a little bolder. When I say bolder in this case, I mean a little larger, maybe a little darker font, not necessarily bolded font, just a little heavier. It looks good, it's just we have to make sure our contrast is good enough to read, but it does look nice. Try not to have one word on a line by itself. Okay. Okay, so now this is in the middle, this header. Okay, good. Contact goes to the end always. That's a web standard. People are used to finding it there, so we make that easy for them. And that's where we put it. Make sure you get rid of that title placeholder and an image that applies. So this is a placeholder. That would be disabled in this case. Okay, great start. Terrific start. Okay. You might be able to put your days of the week up here. Maybe location header there. Something to think about. Caps here, put caps on the others. All right, great job.